And welcome to the second part of the Two Broke Gamers podcast. I'm Ricky.
I'm Steve.
Yeah, you guys already know our names like from last time anyway.
Well, yeah, or if you listened to the show before
Now,
or something.
this second part is going to be about developers and the gamers and the relationship between each other and how it's okay.
How it's, or maybe it's not okay.
Yeah. Now, like, I don't consider myself a type of gamer that would really attack a developer because no matter what, I mean, they put a lot of work into this. A lot of work. Sometimes they don't, maybe, if it's a really, really, really bad game. But even still, like, no matter what, they put some sort of effort into making a game that we all got to enjoy or not enjoy in some
And not
way.
only that, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have games to play in the first place.
Exactly.
So they're the reason why we gamers exist.
Exactly. And the category of gamer, there's I mean, games have been made for years, and the way to make them has changed, but it's still overall just the same thing. It is going to be that one main thing that it has, and it's just a game. Now, the way gamers are, though, I see it on blogs that I've gone to. I see it on the internet. I've seen it just in general, and a lot of gamers are dicks. Like, I'm not even going to front about that. And dicks to developers, more so.
Yeah, as I said in the other part, actually, I'm kind of a dick. Not to the developers. I respect the developers. I'm a dick to other gamers. I am a massive trash talker.
But that's the thing, though. But people take it to the extreme. Like, the real example I wanted to talk about, because what I was reminded of with all the leaks that happened in Smash Bros. And such is I think of Phil Fish. Now, Phil Fish is a very unique case because he made Fez. And he had notoriety from the Indie Gamer documentary of like him walking around like this is the greatest game that's ever gonna be made and all this other stuff. Basically walking around like he was king, all that stuff. Which I mean, hey, he made a pretty good game. And I actually bought the game Fez myself, like maybe so much time after that, like documentary after the fallout of people just hating Phil Fish for some reason. And I didn't care about all that because I care about the game itself. I don't care about what he does or what he says. I mean, you don't know about what the other developers are. You don't know if other developers are dicks too.
Yeah, right.
You don't know that.
Was Fez a good game?
It is a really good game. I like that game.
So that's what's important.
Now,
And was he walking around his office saying, "I'm making the greatest game of all time. I'm making a great game"? Like, was he wrong?
no, not of all time, but it's still a pretty good game.
No, but he wasn't wrong when he said he was making a great game.
Yeah. Now, it got to a point where there was so much criticism against him, and he also made criticism like he basically kind of like trash Japanese games and said that they were kind of boring, and he had to kind of backpedal when he was kind of called out on it, and he was just like it's like like not only that, and then he kind of talks back to the fans that like trash him, and to a point where gamers just don't like him for just being who he is. Like, he could be a giant dick, I'm not gonna lie, but he got to a point where such the criticism and such everything was like he couldn't handle it, to a point where he just came out like randomly and said that Fez 2 was never gonna happen. Like screw all that, it's not happening. That's it. You don't deserve it. It's really what he said. And at first people said it's like, oh yeah, maybe it's just Phil Fish trying to get attention, whatever the case may be. But he had to reiterate not too long ago that no, it's not going to happen, and even his company had to say no, it's not going to happen. So he announced it. He's like, seriously, shut the fuck up about Fez 2. Never going to happen. You don't deserve it. So, and I still remember like thinking about like I always kind of have it in the line of Sakurai in some way, because
there was the we didn't talk about it on the other part of the podcast.
Yeah, but
where I showed you a picture with all these leaks that are happening. Someone made a fake Miiverse post of Sakurai.
Again.
That's, because, they had the Goku one where he's like, you want Goku? Well, here's your fucking Goku. I quit this dog shit company. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, someone made another one where it's like, okay, here's your final roster of Smash. And you know what? Fuck you guys. It's coming out in 2017. You guys can wait. Fuck you.
So it was like, since you assholes don't know what patience is, this kid's going to be late to 2017.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm wondering now.
And not only that, I still remember someone edited the Smash E3 invitational video where Sakurai is talking about the game, and they have the subtitles of "You dirty Americans, you don't deserve my game."
Yeah, right.
But who knows if he's really thinking that? Because I mean, the leaks that he's done. I mean, it's two different levels that we're talking of. I know we're probably talking like apples and oranges as far as people are concerned with Phil Fish and Sakurai, Masahiro Sakurai, but. I mean, they're developers at the end of the day, and they've developed really good games in their history of like and of what they've done. Well, I mean, he has Phil Fish has one, but he still didn't
Well, yeah,
have a
well,
healthy
even then,
resume.
it's also well known that Sakurai is not a big fan of leakers.
Oh yeah,
One of the reasons why he cut Subspace out of this new Smash game was because he wasn't happy when the Japanese version of Subspace got leaked on YouTube, all the cinematics and all that stuff.
Mhm.
He wanted everyone to experience it fresh and new. And so when it got leaked, he was like, well, this is kind of not what I wanted. This is bullshit, in other words.
Yeah, but you know what? If you really wanted it to be that way, Smash 4, whether it be on 3DS or Wii U, should have been a global release, like how Pokemon
That's
was.
also very true.
Yeah.
Because you know that if you release something a couple weeks ahead of time for one, not the other, you're gonna get people are gonna talk about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's like I said, there's like in the last show, there's people that's gonna be streaming this game like day
Yeah.
one, like no matter what.
Absolutely.
There's people streaming Hyrule Warriors. It hasn't even come out in English countries yet. You
Yeah.
know? But going back to Phil Fish and how he canceled it, and I'm done. I take my money and I run. This is as much as I can stomach. This isn't the result of any one thing, but at the end of a long bloody campaign, you win. So it's like, I don't know if it's the fact that he can't handle the criticism or whatnot, or what it is, but he's been like attacked a lot, and maybe a lot of developers have too. But I really wanted to single out these two, and then maybe one more studio that has talked about it. But the problem is, what I had the problem with the gamers is like now they're attacking this guy, and I don't know if they really attack Sakurai. Well, maybe they do with the I want Shrek, I want Shadow.
That's trolling. That's dumb.
But that could also be trolling too, what they're doing to Fair Fish. But it got to another level, to a point where they like hackers hacked his shit, like, and to a point where they put his financial records, exposed his passwords, social security information, and other things among them.
That's excessive.
And I mean, yeah, as much as a dick that that Phil Fish may or may not be,
I don't wish that upon my mortal enemies. Like, that's just mean.
Yeah, and I mean, come on now, like, really, it got to a point where a developer who he just makes video games has to now, like, he wanted to quit the industry. He doesn't think that it's a great industry to work for. I don't know if he's alone in that. I don't know if other developers feel that way, like maybe a few more, but I don't know how many in the grand scheme of things do. But before he deleted his personal Twitter account, he said, "This is video games. This is what I get. This is unacceptable. This is not okay. Terrorist, never win. You hear me? Never again. This is video games." Like, he's kind of ranting on Twitter. This is your audience. To every aspiring game developer out there, don't. Give up. It's not worth it. Nothing is worth this. Give up on your dreams. They're absolutely nightmares. Don't do it. Run away.
Damn, that's power, man. That's powerful words.
Yeah, and he's been very much against like the gaming industry since he released Fez, and I mean, and like I said, it's a really good game, but to have someone to a breaking point where he's quit multiple times, and think and all that, it's really insane. Now, I also wanted to get to a quote from a British indie studio, Puppy Games. They're kind of also getting into a little heat, because they basically said that firstly, gamers aren't very nice people. Yes, you are not a very nice person, statistically speaking. Now, here's a good quote. It might be a long quote, but I'm going to read as much as I can before I can cut myself off. "Customers all think they're worth everything to in the entire world to us. The funny thing is, you are. Without customers, we're dead in the water, homeless, and living in a cardboard box outside Burko's sewage plant." Whatever.
Probably someplace in Burton.
Yeah, whatever. But individually, you're like ants. And all of the developers secretly know it and don't talk about it. See, this is where I want to kind of grasp into it. You're not worth supporting. It's far, far better to completely, totally ignore support if you want to make a living. Developers don't like to talk about it, and they certainly don't want to make customers aware of it. Some developers right now are bristling with public relation inflating indignation, waiting to burst out of my castle in shining white armor, championing the cause for their customers and how they treat their customers like royalty still. But I know, and they know, that they're only doing it because it's yet actually more a dark side of public relations. It's a lie. The numbers do not add up. I'll show you where they add up. On Steam, on the App Store, on Big Fish, on Google Play. That's where all the money is going these days. Great sucking black holes spewing out tat on their event horizons and hovering their pennies from wallets worldwide. You can yell about how important you are to the black hole if you like. No one cares. You can take your money elsewhere and never buy another product from you again, ever. And the black hole will continue to treat you exactly as you deserve. When impassive, voracious, inexorable silence, and still ever growing because you're worthless.
Damn. So no, basically
that's from the heart.
That as a whole, they need us, but individually, we are nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah. In some way,
I'm trying to think of when the last time I bought a video game was, and the industry's still alive. Like, I'm insignificant to the industry, but as yet again, I'm not, because they rely on all of us.
Well, I guess that's why they can pump out Call of Duties every year, because they know a bunch of dumbasses will buy the same shit all the time.
Madden, the whole thing.
Don't get me started on Madden, how dumb that is. Because there's no reason why every year there should be a $60 price tag on an update.
Yeah, pretty much. That's hey, you're paying $60 for DLC.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, at this point in the age of internet, in the age of downloading a lot of things, there's no reason why a game should come out and not have it just updated for a couple of years until you say, okay, we have a better engine.
Yeah.
But besides all that, gamers are really
brutal
against the developers, and I guess developers may or may not know it. I don't know if he's speaking for every single developer. He's this person was claiming they were from Puppy Games. And of course, there's also, there's also Phil Fish, but I also want to bring up Masahiro Sakurai, because it's not like he says a lot. It's not like he's really like shitting on any of the gamers. He talks about what he's doing and how much he loves his job. He loves gaming. He talks about playing other games. He wrote articles in the bi-weekly article, or bi-monthly, I believe, articles that he writes for Famitsu. He reviewed the PlayStation 4. He talked about what he liked about it, what he didn't like about it. He went on about that, and that's great. But what... It's like, is it really that bad at this point where, or is it just because that we have more access to the customers and to the developers now? Because say 20 years ago, this probably may or may not be an issue.
Right, because Twitter wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So you couldn't, Twitter is just where people go to bully people.
Yeah.
It's horrible. You should see, if you ever want to know what's going on Twitter, just go on Twitter and type in Justin Bieber. You'll find 10,000 million little girls who are loving Justin Bieber, and you'll find an equal amount of people who's sitting there telling him he should die and he's worthless and he's an asshole and all that stuff. So I mean, that's just Justin Bieber, but that's, I don't know. It's the same thing goes on with developers. You get, for every one person, not for everyone, I'd say for every 5 people who say that you're doing great, you get one person who's telling you suck and you're an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
So it's rough. Criticism is rough. I'm in a business. Well, not I'm in a position where I deal with criticism myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear it too.
Yeah. I mean, we're in entertainment at this point.
Yeah, we're entertainment.
And of course we're gonna hear the trolls. Of course, that's kind of that's gonna be a thing. But then you're gonna hear people who actually appreciate what you do.
Yeah, well, not only do we do this podcast, I also do radio stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So people tell me, "Hey, you're great," and other people tell me, "You suck." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." That's what I want to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's just strange to me though still, because like I said, many years ago maybe this wouldn't have, because of the communication that we have, because maybe years ago if games like this came out, who knows what if because I never realized this side of games. I've read magazines for 90s and such, and there wasn't this real trolling and the level of trolling that there is now with video game reviews and what people are thinking about games and the leaking and piracy and everything else like that. It didn't run as rampant as it was back then, and I don't know if it's just because of the communication that's giving people the idea of this is how we're gonna treat you guys now, because now that I have this game and I know who you are, I'm gonna talk shit about you, and it's just why is that? Why is that a thing now?
That's another thing. I think leaking has gotten way out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
There used to never be, I mean, I would say not there was never leaks, but the leaks were definitely a lot less. There wasn't what we have now. Smash is a few months away. Not a few. I'd say it's about a month away for Americas. It's a couple weeks away for Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's apparently the whole roster's been leaked out. There's no more secrets left in Smash, pretty much. And it's just like, all right, you're taking out some of the game, I guess. You're taking out some of the excitement of the game, but I don't know. Just a few years ago, well, I guess they did the same kind of thing with Melee, but Melee was all speculation. There was no actual like confirmed leak of Melee like that's going on right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, who knows how Sakurai is, and like if he's just gonna be like, what, this is my last game. I'm out. I'm doing independent games. I'm gonna work on the game in myself and my wife, and I'm gonna work on a game and release it. And I know there's no leaks because I'm the only fucking person working on it.
Yeah, right. I'm the only one. But no, there's also conspiracy theories that Sakurai's behind the leaking and just to get the hype up or something.
Yeah, and Nintendo too. Yeah,
but I don't believe that at all. Because like I said, Sakurai was incredibly pissed off when Japan was leaking the subspace stuff for Brawl. So why would he then go and support leaking his brand new game that everyone's so excited about? And he's been trying to that's what the Miiverse posts are about. He's feeding you information as he wants to. He doesn't want the whole leak. And now some douche has come out and ruined everything.
Yeah. Now, that's the other thing too. No matter what, people have the compelling thing to, once they get a game, I gotta put it on the internet.
Yeah, I gotta ruin it for everybody.
No, well, not just ruin it. Just I'm gonna have people watch me play a game on YouTube or on Twitch. I'm gonna have people watch me do this.
Yet again, in our other spot, you're like, hey, you're gonna be watching it? Of course I'm gonna be watching it. Like, we're kind of counteracting ourselves here, but whatever.
Like, that's the thing now. Is this really gonna be the point of the industry now, where it's just, it's like, yeah, we're going to be making these games for people who are worthless because they're going to give us their money no matter what, and there's no real heart in developing a video game? Or is it just still this? Because no matter what, I still will appreciate the video games. Like I said, I didn't give a damn what Phil Fish said. I heard about it for a long time, and I still bought Fez because overall I heard it was still a good game.
And that's how it should be. It shouldn't be about... Yeah, I don't know. I'm lost in my thought here. Like the gamers... You should respect the developer because without him, you're not playing a game.
Or her.
Without him or her, you're not playing a game because there's no game to be made because the developer's not making one.
Yeah, and you're not making one.
And on the same right, and on the same hand, the developer should respect the customer too, because without the customer, your game isn't being sold.
Yeah, and they know that, but then there's like from the puppy games like rants that it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, you matter and yet you don't in some way, because no matter what, you're still kind of useless. And it's like, well, it's not really that way at all in my perspective, because in all honesty, if I want a game and I want to play it and I want to enjoy the experience, I'm gonna go out my way and do it.
Yeah.
Now, if it sucks, then yeah, I want my money back. Or if I want to try a demo, I'm gonna do it. But I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, now I'm kind of concerned. Like, the future of gaming, is it just gonna be like these like a bunch of like horrible gamers that making it worse for the real gamers who wanna, like, I don't know. I feel like they aren't the real gamers that are complaining, like, and being dicks to developers. Because if you really have to go out of your way and talk to an individual about a game, like, and telling them how much it sucks and all that stuff, like, you're like, what are you really doing in the end? Like, are you really you're really adding fuel to the fire where they're like, developers are like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be making these games. Maybe I should have looked in another industry to work in or something. Because it's not like it's like this in any other field. At least I guess not, because I don't know if, in literature, like, there's not many trolls talking about,
your
like,
book sucked.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of, like, that's not a lie. There's a lot of hack writers out there and whatnot, and there's a lot of books that people don't know of and whatnot, but it's not like, there's whole big discussions and all that because of a book and how horrible a person can be, and convincing someone to a point where it's like, you know what? Writing for you people is just awful. Why am I even doing this? F you guys, that type of deal. Same thing with movies. I mean, you have a whole big crew working on, like, on like multiple movies, multiple scenes to make a movie happen, and yet you'll hear, of course, and that criticism seems to be more constructed than a video game criticism, where if you really had to talk to a director or a producer or whatnot, you would say, oh, it's a great movie, or this movie sucked. But at the end of the day, a lot of people will still think differently because they paid for it no matter what. And whether they didn't pay for it, I mean, that's up to them, because they probably didn't like the movie. And that's the thing too. Like, for gaming industry, it seems like people are going to buy the games no matter what. But then that depends on what game, and really, is that going to change because of how the developers feel or how the gamers feel? Because people are going to watch good movies no matter what, and people are going to watch shitty movies. I mean, people watch Sharknado for Christ's sakes.
That movie was fantastic.
But yeah,
fantastically horrible.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And there's a genre for all that. But for gaming, it seems to, no matter what genre it is, it's gonna sell unless it's like an indie game that nobody really knows of. But there's still a small amount of audience that will still love it, no matter what. And I feel like no matter what, you gotta respect the developer. I couldn't in my life shit on a developer. Now, in one of my jobs, I've met someone that works at a gaming company close in this local area, and I'm not gonna reveal which one and where and whatnot. But in having conversations with this person, I mean, he was real cool, and I also complimented like the games that I've had, and we've talked about gaming and such. But then we talked about like a few other things too, and I wouldn't tell him that this game would suck that they've made and whatever, because why? I mean, like, if I didn't like a game, I wouldn't have bought it. I was telling him, like, I can't wait for this game, because when I met him at the time, it was this game that was going to come out. And I told him, I can't wait to buy this game. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I'm going to get it somehow, because, times is rough right now, but I'm going to get this game. And this person was really cool. He even gave me a shirt. It was really cool, actually. And it was a real cool, like thing, because now I'm, like, no matter what, I'm going to support that company. And I'm gonna basically like be about that company no matter what. Like not all about it, but I definitely would support them with buying their games and whatnot. I'm not gonna really hype their games because I really don't talk about that company enough on this show. Funny enough, it's not like, because people are probably thinking it was probably Nintendo. No, it isn't. But even if it was, like, it still would act the same way as it did before. But what this person did for that company, and even if it was a PR thing or not, but he was still a cool dude no matter what. Didn't have to do what he did, and he did. And it earned my respect, and it was like, you know what? I think there's other people that are like that in that company, and I would still support that company in no matter what and what games they do. But now I have to feel like I have to buy more of their games because I really don't own a lot of their games. But after that little, thing, it made me want to, support that company a little more, and give that guy my money, basically,
But no, basically what we're getting at here is respect the developer.
Mm-hmm.
They're going out of they're taking their time to make something for you, and you're gonna be like a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm not about that.
And that's another thing too, because like it's not like it's making a movie. It's not like it's making a book, because it's an experience that you're watching third person. Like, you can't be involved in a movie. You can't be involved in a certain book. Maybe you can give out like the do-it-yourself, find your own adventure type book. You can be a part of the book, but in a video game, you're not really watching the game. You're it. You're the person,
game, man. You're doing it.
And if you don't understand that concept, that basic concept alone, that you are the character, you're telling yourself the story in this game, and you would like still shit on some developer because it's like your game and you're awful and you're asshole and that's just, if you don't even get that basic concept of gaming, then really you shouldn't be playing games, because you don't get what this industry is about and what it tries to achieve and what it tries to change and what it tries to do for people and their audience. Because no matter what, I'm going to appreciate a game. I have various amount of different games that I play. You hear me talking about Smash and Mario Kart, but it's
way more than that.
It is way more than that. Like, and I play a sort of different games, and I love their music in the games. I like the graphics in the games. I like the kind of retro, and even if it's like a 2D type thing, I'm gonna like the I've played like games that like I really like I've seen. I go, oh my gosh, this game looks different. This game looks cool. I want to try that game. Like, no matter what, and I would give those people my money, because I know I want to be able to enjoy that game just like everybody else has. And for people to just do that, I just don't get it myself. And in all honesty, if people want to shit on me for that, then oh well. Because I can.
I'm here. I'm right here. I deal with criticism all the time. I don't. Who are you to me?
Exactly. Now
I don't know you.
And I think that's. I think we sold the point on that. I hope.
Yeah. No. Just stop being a dick.
Stop being a dick, guys. I mean, honestly, enjoy the games. If you don't want to enjoy the games, then go play Angry Birds and fucking whatever else, which, those are just game developers that are doing it not for the story, but for something simple for, to kill your time. Like, yeah, they do have some meaning into their game, but a lot of the times they are doing it for money. Like, that's an easy money grab, those type of games. Like, let's not lie. But they still do it for some reason. They did come with the characters. They put some effort into it. And at the end of the day, if you enjoy it, then go ahead. But I don't really like those games so much, but I really would love a game for me to be engulfed in it, for me to be able to enjoy it and experience what a game could be or should be, like RPGs and such like that. Like you got to be able to enjoy that at least. And for you to get angry at a developer for just being a dick and just I don't get that. And even if the developer wants to be a dick right back, you know what? I don't care.
But just real quick before we end this,
Yeah.
Phil Fish wasn't wrong. He was walking around his studio with a sense of confidence. He's swinging the big dick around because he thinks he's making the best game in the world. Like, that's how you should as a game developer. If you're walking around like, this game's gonna suck, or it's gonna be okay, like, that's not how you should go into it as a game developer. You should go into everything thinking like, this is gonna be the best thing ever, and I'm giving the people a golden gift. That's how it should be. And you're gonna get mad at him for thinking he's gonna make the best game in the world. You should be like embracing his attitude. What's wrong with you people? I don't understand.
That is funny. That's a real good point, though. You can't just say, hey, you know what? I got a kind of an idea for a game. It may not be great, but you want to make it?
Exactly. It's like you gotta go into something thinking that's like not even just games. If you're gonna make a movie, you gotta think it's the best movie in the world. You're giving the world a gift. In music, if you're making a song, you gotta think it's the best song in the world. I don't even understand where people are coming from thinking he's an arrogant jerk for thinking his game's going to be the best game in the world when that's the attitude you're taught to like present.
Well, I mean, there was more things too, like him, like, people trashing him and he trashed them right back and stuff like that.
Well,
which,
that's just coming to his own defense.
Yeah, and to a point where, but then it shouldn't get to a point where you're hacking into a shit. That's
where the people are wrong.
Yeah, that's just dumb. I couldn't fathom that at all.
I guess, all right, if I'm making a game, I'm going to walk around saying it's going to be the best game in the world. If you're going to tell me like, fuck you, your game's gonna suck, then I'm gonna be like, well, then don't play it, dickhead. Like, I'm not gonna just sit there and let you trash on me. I'm gonna tell you you're a jerk. Yeah. So I agree with Phil Fish in his way he handled everything, and I disagree with the way the people handled it.
And now, what do you think about the puppy games thing?
They're assholes. For saying that their customer base it doesn't matter, like they matter but they don't matter, like as individuals. That's wrong. I think that's horrible. It's a horrible way to look at it.
Yeah, if you're just making a game blankly, then really I mean, in all honesty, I don't even know what puppy games make. Like, I know
I've never even heard of them. That's why I also don't care.
Let's see, games that they made: Revenge of the Titans, Droid Assault, Ultratron, and Titan Attacks.
I never heard of any of those.
I honestly have not either.
I've never heard of any of those.
No, I have not. But still, I mean, just the fact that there's developers out there that feel that way, it's kind of like, I don't know. That's not really the right attitude to go about. I don't know. I think we covered the points on that. In all honesty, like I said, I love games. I took a break from games for a long time, but I still wouldn't quit them. I don't think I'm gonna quit them for a long time. Maybe until my thumbs fall off. But still, I couldn't understand, because it's not like. Because even if you could think of like Shigeru Miyamoto being a dick, like, could you really, like, and even if like it was a different time and he was like there and people shit on him for making a great game like Donkey Kong, it's just strange. It's such a different time, and I couldn't get it. I don't know if today's developers are dicks themselves, or it's just the fact that there's just a select few and everybody else is kind of like, well, I know I'm doing a good job and I know people will appreciate the game, and I do hope that there are developers that will realize that that there's gamers out there that appreciate what they do no matter what.
Yeah, that's what I hope.
Yeah, I hope so too.
And I also hope that the developer realize that for every one bad comment, you're gonna have someone, you're gonna have like 5, 6, maybe even way more than that, people who are very appreciative of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're gonna have the trolls. Just remember that they're trolls, and maybe those guys don't matter. Maybe, but like,
how do you even know those trolls even bought your game?
Exactly. How you know they're not just some douchebag who's like, I'm gonna troll this guy just see for a reaction.
And who knows that the actual gamers who actually appreciate the games aren't the ones that are criticizing or anything. They just buy it and that's it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just hope that they realize that there's more people who appreciate them than people who don't. That's all I gotta say with that. And with that, that will be the end of our little debate segment, opinion segment. I don't know what you want to call it. There wasn't much of a debate here. This was more of a telling you guys to stop being dicks.
Yeah. So, of course, we got a blog, Two Bro Gamers, all one word with the number 2, Two Bro Gamers Podcast at WordPress.com. Our Twitter at Two Bro Gamers Pod. individual Twitters.
Our individual Twitters. I am Steve B. Agilism. That's AGILISM.
And I'm at Ter_Rick, TEH_Rick. And we hope you enjoyed this second part, and we would love to hear your feedback, of course, at some point.
We would love to hear your feedback. Leave some comments in the comment section. That's what it's there for.
Exactly.
You can hit us up on Twitter, as we gave you our Twitter tags. You can call me a dick if you want. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, we'll take it. Doesn't matter. And we'll respond, maybe, if I'm not working.
Or if I care.
Yeah, exactly. So,
which I don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week with some more video gaming goodness.
And you all take care and have fun.
Yeah.